Yeah, I know what my pin is. Just let me know when they're here.
And we're back.
Oh, hey.
I was not ready for that.
All right. We got a small follow-up, you said. What we got
well,
for
first of all, I'd like to thank the listeners who tuned in from the United Arab Emirates and Russia.
Never would have thought that we would have people international so early on in this recording of the podcast. Especially considering we've done no marketing whatsoever.
Global reach. We have global reach.
You post on Reddit.
I post all over the place.
Do you?
No, just.
Oh.
I was like, posting.
Yeah, I didn't
As
get.
we're about to talk about
no
the
one
N-word.
signed off on it, but
Whoa.
Okay. Last time you talked about cities that have sexual names that get free Pornhub.
Yes.
And I was like, I got to know what those are.
Hold on. I can see him being confused already.
Yeah.
Free Pornhub Premium. So if your town name is sexual, the one I found was Cummings, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
Pornhub gives the entire town free Pornhub Premium.
Well,
Looks
boys,
like you're moving to Georgia.
boys.
But what does this follow? Am I just wrong?
It's just called Cumming, Georgia. No, it's true.
Okay.
Cumming, Georgia, and it's spelled Cumming. Just crazy.
Yeah.
There's Hornytown, North Carolina.
Okay, that one's on. See, Cummings isn't Cummings. It can be a last name, can it?
Yeah, I've heard. I've
Yeah.
known
Like
people.
Cummings.
Cummings.
Hornytown or what?
Dude, there's some crazy ones. Fort Dick, California.
Another one though that could be like Dick someone's
Richard.
name.
Right. Okay. Boners Lake, Wisconsin.
Okay, that one.
Wait, we got a
Wait,
place in
where is
Wisconsin
that?
called Boner's Lake.
I didn't look up where
We
it
gotta
is.
find that.
We got to
Podcast
go.
trip.
But there's so many. These are just the American ones. There's crazier ones. There's a lot of towns called Climax. That's decent.
Interesting.
Three-Way, Virginia. I thought that was funny. There's a town called Slut in Sweden.
All right.
Very straightforward.
Yeah.
Slut.
It's
Best
pronounced
one.
Sloot.
Slut.
Best one by far. There's a town called Fucking in Austria.
Fucking Austria.
It's literally called Fucking, and it until 2021 it was spelled like fucking, and they changed the spelling to Fugging.
Dude, isn't to refer to that place correctly in like text, you'd have to say fucking Austria.
Are you from fucking Austria?
Yeah, dude, that's awesome.
It's hilarious. Apparently, like in World War II, soldiers were taking their pictures with street signs and stuff, and became
Who
famous.
wouldn't? Yeah, boys get rowdy.
People from there are called fuckingers, which is hilarious.
Wow. Wait, fucking.
Fuck what?
What's that last bit?
Fuckingers.
Okay, all
Pretty
right.
close.
Yeah.
Good segue.
Here it comes.
I'll fucking say it.
It's time.
There's a town called Orgy, Anus, and Pussy, all in France.
Separate towns or
Separate towns, yeah.
That would be a wild. We're just going to throw it all together.
orgy
Anus and pussy.
And then last one, Horny Police, Czech Republic.
Okay. Is
What
it
was the
spelled
second
like
one?
police?
Horny Town? Literally just called Horny Town?
Horny Town,
Hornytown.
North Carolina.
Damn. So yeah, if you want free Pornhub Premium, you know where to go.
Any of those destinations.
There's a lot of
there's,
warm ones
There's
in there.
so many more, too.
Like warm climate. You
Yeah,
know, North
yeah.
Carolina.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Florida doesn't have a single one.
There's probably one. in
Yeah.
Florida. I just took the honorable mentions. There's,
Okay.
There's tons of them.
Gotcha. Which again, I've never been on Pornhub Premium, so I don't know what it all.
Okay.
Who's paying for it?
Yeah, all right. He's never been. The Christmas specials, the Thanksgiving
Christmas
specials,
the compilations for Christmas.
Ah.
Are you kidding me?
Black Friday deals. You never tried
Nice.
it for 7 days.
Blacked.
What?
Yeah, the black porn. Never seen that?
Black
There's a
porn?
town called
It's like-
Dildo, too.
Never watched it.
Oh, it's like one of the more. It's one. You know how they have like brazzers and like they have like certain like.
Oh, the actual brand, I guess. You
I
could
guess,
call
but
it?
there's one that's literally called black. That's just like white chicks getting blasted by these like giant dick black dudes, and it's always in like a dark room with a camera that's like, it's like a flashlight on them.
Oh,
It's
so
like
low budget. That's what you're saying.
I guess it's like one of the ones that is almost always on like the popular feed, just blacked. It's also I think it's maybe I'm wrong on that one. The famous picture of like all the black dudes like standing behind the white girl on the couch.
I feel like that was a long time ago.
Yeah, so maybe that's not.
That's been
blacked.
around for so
That's
long.
just black on white.
That's just a crime.
That's just classic. Classic.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Topic. Some pretext before we get into this. We have one of our friends joining us today. He is of the black persuasion.
Nice.
And we could be, but I'm not going to say we are. So anything that's said from here on out, just know that.
I want everyone to know.
Just want everyone to know.
You can't verify it, but
Yeah. And I might have, all right, how about you lead then?
All right. So, hi, I'm the black friend, so I can say this. But there is a word that is not even suspiciously close to, not even almost close to. It is the word with a little bit tacked onto it in Australia that is still used, correct?
Yeah, and I should say the word is technically different. It has an A instead of an E in the R at the end.
And they know now.
But it's like, I mean, for all intents.
So the word, it has, we'll get to the definition why, we'll probably try to figure out in our own heads why they use it, but the word is niggardly.
Yeah.
Niggardly.
Yes.
Niggardly. Right?
Spelling bee. Correct.
Yeah!
Move on. You have
Wait.
to say the word after you finish.
We could just
though.
start there. Do you think it's ever been in a spelling bee? It's a word.
ooh,
Maybe.
Has it been in an Australian
make a
spelling
kid
bee?
say it.
Make the kids say it.
Well, dude, that's the thing too. Is that this word? So I just the way I found out about this is an Australian comedian was talking about coming over to America and using that word because it's described as like, I think it's like being stingy with something or selfish with something. It's either
Sounds about
It
right.
means ungenerous.
That fits.
Stingy.
No, that checks out.
the word fits, you shall quit. But he's like, he came over here from Australia like saying that word as if thinking it has nothing to do with the N word.
Right.
Similar to how they'll refer to pants as knickers. Like
Yeah.
they say that commonly more, and that said quickly enough just sounds like the N word.
Yeah.
But so I guess coming over in here and saying that it has been around since like Shakespearean time before the N word as we know it was being used in a racial way.
Yeah.
So it has like historical evidence that it was not even around the N word and it's still used. But I didn't know that was a word until literally I heard this comedian talking about it. And I looked at the definition. Sure enough, it is unrelated to the actual N word.
But that's he said he would just say it casually and then people would react, right? Like he didn't
Yes.
even realize. How do you not realize that that's literally the N word?
Well, I think initially people probably just don't tell you what's going on. I don't know. I'm just speaking from what
Yeah.
he said.
You just
but-
get a raised eyebrow and they're like,
Yeah.
What was
How
that
does
about?
everyone react when I say that?
Dude, I don't know about you guys, but I've definitely come across wiggers that literally use the N word like they are black.
yeah, there's
What?
videos of it. You've seen
You've
that?
never come across a hood white person growing up that literally just uses the N word? I've come across
No.
many of those.
Damn.
Yeah.
Have you never seen the video where they're in a store and the guy is dropping hard N-bombs and this black guy's just so sick of it he grabs like, I don't even remember what it is. Whatever the soda was, let's just call it.
Oh,
let's
is this
just
when he's,
call it
like, waiting in
Monster.
line?
Yeah, let's just say it's
yeah.
Monster.
I think I've
And
seen
then this
this.
black guy grabs it. We'll just say it's Monster, and he just obliterates it across some
Yeah,
guy's
yeah.
face. And then like the next day, Monster sells out everywhere. Like, yeah.
But dude, there was I'm trying to think of his first name was Kenny, but in high school he just like I'm not saying he was in the right for using the N-word, but he would literally he lived in a predominantly black neighborhood, had like all black friends, and like in his friend group that it was fun. Like he was the only white guy saying it, but it was
They were
like
cool with it.
he was just one of them.
Yeah.
But it's like I can see how someone can see that and be like, oh yeah, it's I don't know. I'm not going to be like, whoa, buddy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interject
But
yourself.
I guess if an Australian comes over here and starts saying that word, I'd be like,
That's a little, yeah, that's odd.
but
But he speaks English. That's why I feel like.
But he probably has an accent
so
too.
does the wiggers.
Yeah, but
Right,
but they're
yeah.
like Americanized. You can probably guess where he grew up around. Whereas as an Australian, they have an Australian accent. You're like, wait a minute.
I would say that gives even more points to my point because it's a foreigner. So you could be like, oh, I don't really know.
Yeah, but you know he listens to rap. Come on.
yeah,
Come on.
yeah. Well, like if a foreigner was talking a circle and dropped some word that sounded like something like a slur, but I would imagine with context in the conversation, it would make sense he's not talking about.
Does he live in America or is he?
Yeah, he's here on visa now. His name is James McCann. He's an Australian. He's very funny. So yeah, I guess I don't know. That's I had never heard it used. I've never heard it used in like even in books, I've never seen that word.
Yeah,
used.
I thought I knew all the sound-alike words until you mentioned that.
Yeah.
That's like the closest one.
Yeah. Because I figured like by
You've
now
been studying the sound-alike words?
I know them all.
What do you mean the sound? What do you mean you know those
the sound of words?
I know the sound-alike words of
You
know.
never read
N-word.
the book, The Sound of Words?
Yeah.
It's the sequel to The Sound of
Come
Music.
on, man.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know why it would be. I don't know why it still exists. Why it would be used? What context? Everyone knows that's like that word now. So
Right.
why would it still be used anywhere without like some?
Well,
Granted, I'm not all for like censorship or anything like that. So use it, but like I would imagine there's a lot of people that are like, that word's pretty close to a pretty bad word for Americans, and they tend to shoot stuff.
I mean, I think there's a reason why none of us have heard it.
Yeah.
Because probably people have realized that
Well,
and been like, we're not going to fucking use it.
I would think coming to America and doing comedy in America, you would have a radar for that. That's why I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Not that he's a foreigner.
Well,
but,
here's
like,
the thing, too. Does Australia... Because I know that Australia has, like, their minorities are the Aboriginal people. And, like, apparently the word... It's either Abby or something like that is equivalent to the N-word over there. Like, if you say that, someone will be like, holy fucking shit. So it's like, they have...
sounds harmless over here. It's a name.
Well, that's right. I mean, it kind of fits the story then, right? We're like, over here, I'm like, that means nothing to me
Nah,
because
I
we don't
feel ya.
have that problem. And I don't think... They don't have a white-on-black race kind of thing going on in Australia. I don't think that exists. Like, it's not like we had slaves here and there's this civil rights. Like, that history is here. So it's, like, way more inflammatory. As over there, it's like... Most of them probably, I don't know what the black population of Australia, I got to imagine extremely low because.
Well, I mean, it was like a giant prison island, so there's got to be some blacks over there.
I see the connection you're making. But I think it was very white prisoners. I don't know if there's a lot of black
Yeah, I
prisoners.
think it was like a British prison.
Yeah,
or whatever.
it's like a British prison colony. And as opposed to the reason why most black people are in America is because we brought them here. So it's like, yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, and you know, not to be like, oh, and I've brought this up before, and it'll sound like, oh, you making a racist point or whatever, but slave owners in Africa sold their slaves, which were black tribesmen, sold them to Dutch sailors. So it's not like, maybe there was a few, but people weren't going over there and enslaving people and then bringing them back to America. They were buying slaves from already enslaved, typically prisoners of tribal war, and then bring them over here.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me, guys.
And that's my time.
I got to go.
All right, fine. We'll move on to something fucking easier, which is Japanese getting raped by Marines over in Japan.
Easier. I mean, it sounds easy.
Why are they doing it?
I mean, it sounds easy. Marine, are you going to be able to stop a Marine? You know, yeah, it's pretty easy.
I just like, it's one of those things where, you know, I think of, you know, Spotlight, the movie, the police fucking kids thing. And like everyone, you know, for the most part, we're like, oh, that's fucked up. And then it just continues to happen because the church is so big.
Yeah.
I feel like the American military can sometimes work under that, like veil of like, they can do stuff. And because they are literally the most powerful thing in existence currently, people are like, well, it's the American military.
Can't say no.
Yeah, and
What are you
granted,
gonna
I don't know if those. I gotta imagine people are getting. Well, I gotta hope people are getting prosecuted, or was it court-martialed, or whatever the fuck it is in the military.
Is that like a lot of people are doing that?
Enough to make like headline news where there's like problems in these towns around the Marine bases that
my
like people are
God.
like, yeah, Marines are just coming
And
into
this
town
is
like rape.
Japanese, you said?
Japanese.
Japanese news, I'm assuming, is reporting on it and saying make it stop, or is like an American, like, I don't even know if there's such a thing. I think there's like military reporters.
Yeah, I would think it would be Japanese news, but then it's made its way to American media.
Gotcha.
Like I definitely wasn't reading like a Japanese newspaper. I don't
Got
know
it.
where I saw
I was
it.
going to be very impressed. Like, you know, Japanese.
Like reading Japanese newspapers. I have been trying to read Argentinian newspapers, but they're
The fuck?
because of the Argentina libertarian presence. Like when because what happens is whenever I'm trying to get news from truly another country, it's always in the native language of the country, and then I'll try to put it through Google Translate, and there'll be a lot of mistranslations. And it's if you try. When I have tried to find news on stuff going in Argentina, there's a lot of like, it gets diluted to the point where like American media, I have found reports on it incorrectly, where they're like, well, look at these metrics. Because like there's this big battle of, there's a libertarian president. It's a threat to our current system because it's working over there currently. And so you'll find news media stations being like, well, it's failing by these metrics and these metrics, and then you go read what's actually happening there through their reporting things, and it's like, seems not like that's not the case. But then also, that could be biased media over there. All to say, I have tried to read some foreign
Japanese,
country stuff, and it's like, yeah.
It's hard to get through, or hard to...
Tell me the media lies to us?
I know, man. It's crazy.
So what if this is all lies, just to bring down our faith in our own military? What if this is a big Japanese hoax?
The rape thing?
Yeah.
It'd be hilarious if that was the tipping point. We're like, oh, man. Not the wars in the
I
Middle East
love
for
anime.
decades.
Don't do this.
One Piece! No!
One rape.
Yeah. One rape.
It's a new anime coming out.
Yeah, Jujutsu rape.
Yeah, I don't know why they... Well, I know why they would, because I'm guessing this military base is just a bunch of dudes and then military chicks, and they're like, nah, let's just go out into the fields.
Yeah, it's just weird, though, because, like, because military people are, like, allowed to go off base and, like, party in, like, the towns.
And there's got to be... there was always prostitutes, right?
Yeah. I mean...
Do they just...
I only know it from, like, movie culture where they're, like, you know, there's people stationed in a foreign country and there's prostitutes everywhere in, like, the Philippines or Vietnam or where the fuck they are.
And I know Japan has prostitution. I guess I don't know about in the rural ones, but, like, in Tokyo, they have prostitution.
And don't they have, like, a whole fucking birth problem right now? Like, a population problem? So they're, like... I think
So they should be grateful.
Yeah,
that's where I was going. You know what? You're fucking right. I saw recently that the whole government is going to force a 4-day work week because of the birth rate decline. So people have more time to, like, have a family.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But also terrible policy for getting real, forcing a 4-day work week.
I mean, I feel like most people could probably get the majority of the work done in 4-day work. Japan, historically, they just work too much. So...
Well, you can make the argument that's why they're probably one of the most technologically advanced countries and highest GDPs, regardless of them being, like, smaller relative to the other superpowers.
Yeah,
just because they work so hard.
If you're going to decline, I guess, the balancing act of if they think that'll fix it, sure, maybe, because they work everybody there who is like, I don't remember what they call them, but the salarymen, that's what they call them.
Yeah.
The salarymen that work there. If that is the reason for the birth rate decline, giving them an extra day to unwind, party, whatever, or if it's to actually raise a family, I don't know. If they believe that's what would fix it, I would hope that they're all intelligent enough. Like, they did, like, some kind of research and being like, that's why. I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know a lot about the Japanese government, but it does lean towards, like, collective. A lot of East Asian countries lean towards, like, a collective mindset. And it comes with a lot of downfall in that portion. But you can have the situation in Japan where they're like, it's collective in the sense of, like, work as hard as you can. Yeah. And it has made for a very impressive situation. Yeah. But forcing companies to be like, you can't work more than 4 days, what ends up happening is companies go other places then. It's typically what happens. If a government goes, you can only do this, and another country goes, oh, we don't give a shit. They just pack up and move over there, and then the country itself suffers because a lot of the goods and economy, like, is made by people who are doing very well, offering jobs, making money, and keeping it in and out of the country. But
I also feel like a 4-day work, how would that help you start a family?
You have a day off, I guess, an extra day. That's I gotta imagine that's their
whole day of fucking.
a day dedicated to
can't fuck
fucking.
on the
whole
weekends?
day.
Like, there's still 2 days to fuck.
They got to recover from the Friday, so then all they have is Sunday. And Sunday, badminton, backgammon is what I wanted to say. Backgammon with the girls or guys, whoever you play with.
Japan's aphrodisiac badminton.
Yeah, you only got, like, one recovery day and one maybe chill day. Or maybe you're just so afraid of work coming up again and you're like, all of a sudden your mind's
so
on work.
stressed.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, Friday taking off, Saturday, you don't got to think about work the next day. Boom, you're fucking. That's it.
Yeah, at the same time, it's like if I was on the fence about having a family and I was like, oh, I got to work, like, would a day off really make that difference?
I don't know.
Who the
Not
fuck?
for me. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, right. I guess maybe if we're living in Japan, we're Japanese, but, like, I'm like, a day off would make me suddenly want to make a family.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Wow.
Sorry. I'm sorry. It's just saying that out loud, not to you.
Wow.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Oh, the woman baked alive at a Walmart oven. This happened a bit ago, but I feel like it's worth talking about. Like, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. Did you hear about that?
I did not. Break it down.
Well, I don't know. The last thing I saw about it is, story. A 19-year-old Indian woman who worked at Walmart died by being cooked alive in a walk-in oven, which...
I would have guessed Jewish.
I see it. Right. Well, we did open with the N-word thing, so I guess we have a trend for this episode. Not Jewish.
Got it.
If anything, Hindu, right? That'd probably be Hindu.
Punjabi, maybe. Something along those
Don't know the
lines.
difference. Couldn't tell you.
Well, that's your ignorance speaking.
Yes, I'm sorry. Walked into an oven, and so when the story happened, there's like news stations producing images and videos of these ovens being like, you can't lock these you couldn't be inside and close yourself in. And
Okay.
so at the same time, the cops involved, the detectives involved said there's no foul play. So it's like, what happened then?
Who cooked her?
Yeah, and if there's no foul play, that assumes no one cooked her.
Right.
So like, what?
But someone,
So it
they
can't
said
be-
like technologically, someone had to close the door.
Yeah.
Got it. So it's like, and that was that the end, or has something come out
I
where it's
haven't-
like
think it's
this is
over.
what happened?
I don't know if there was anything beyond that. It was just like
So
no
what
foul
a
play.
horrific scene to walk in on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. I think her mom worked at the Walmart with her. I don't know
Yeah.
if they're on the same shift, but
Yeah, I think her mom found her.
But also being baked alive, that's got to be like top level worst ways to die. Because
Yeah.
you're just like slow, not even slow cooking, but you're not like bursting into flames.
Yeah.
You're just
Yeah.
sitting there while you just turn into mush.
Yeah.
And saunas are brutal. I can barely stand those.
Oh,
Right.
dude.
Like sauna cooked up another 100 degrees.
Oh my God,
unescapable. But yeah, how would it, unless someone puts something in front, I don't know.
Ghost, man.
I don't know.
I mean,
Did you
there's
say
this-
ghosts.
Aliens.
Okay.
Both.
You're
Working as a team.
for one Indian, we gotta get rid of her.
We got to get rid of these.
She's a
Is she
problem.
Hindi or Punjab? We don't know. We got to put her in there.
Just put her in there.
But unrelated, but you guys have been hearing about this drone stuff in New Jersey?
No.
No.
Okay.
Oh, I only heard it. Same time as you. Yeah.
So I looked into it after that. Apparently, there's like all of these drones that the government the other day had to make a press statement that was like, it's not Iranian, it's not Chinese, it's not our technology. It's like we have no, and they're like these large amounts of these drones that they can't even tell if they're like it's not technology we're even familiar with. And they try to chase them, and they all spread away and run away when they try doing it.
Fuck.
And dude, this is like, there's like press conferences on the news of like they're being like, we don't know what's happening, but it's not a threat.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Like, we have no idea what it is.
Just don't worry about it. It's
Yeah.
fine.
And dude, this is so mainstream that I heard about it through one of our friends that like he just reads the news. I think for the most part, it's like, yeah, do you see this shit? And I was like, no fucking way. And there's just like press conferences about it. Which, how close do we have to get before they like an alien just goes, hey, it's me?
I mean, isn't there a theory that the aliens have been here and always been here, and they're just like in the ocean using
That's one theory.
power?
There's
that
also
the pyramids were batteries.
I mean,
Like, there's
yeah,
hell yeah.
could
A
be.
bunch of crazy
I
stuff.
mean,
like
there's-
that. Keep
You haven't
going.
heard that one?
No.
The pyramids. So the pyramid construction, basically, the pyramid construction isn't like the other tombs that were built at that time. And when they got inside of the pyramids, the majority of the rooms were just empty. They didn't have like
Yeah.
the story of like the pharaoh or
Yeah.
whoever was buried there. So when they got in, they were like, "Huh, it's weird that this is empty." And when they were originally made, there was like a gold. The cap was made out of gold, which is like a very good
okay.
conductor of electrical energy. And they're all in like a perfect line. And then after that point, when they were like, "Here's all these weird things," they were just, the question is still like, what would have hooked up
Yeah.
what would have hooked up to them? Because they're in a perfect like line that something could come down and like conduct the electricity into something else. So
Oh, shit.
aliens, man, they've
Could
been
be.
here.
I
Damn.
mean, they're one of the theories connected to all this stuff is that like what you said, they've always been here, but they're just like waiting until we reach a point where they can accept us into this intergalactic thing. Like there's a bunch of planets.
Wait, like they're vetting us?
yeah, like we're
Oh,
not at a place
sick.
yet until they're like, you can come aboard. We're
Yeah.
still like fighting with each other and doing weird stuff and dude, even crazier. So, a while ago there was those like Congress hearings about the UFOs and
Yeah.
there's like people testifying like we have this stuff, blah blah blah. Maybe a month ago, during those meetings, and they were talking about like a couple of times that either they're going to use nuclear weapons or they're doing something at a nuclear weapon testing site, and something they would experience some phenomenon. It would shut off all the nuclear systems when they were like trying to use them, and so maybe a month ago, this happened at another like weapons nuclear site where this thing came and like shut everything down.
Just like an EMP or something?
Yeah, suggesting that like these things are like they can
Stop it.
Yeah, they're like no,
Knock it off.
don't do that. But again, it was through like Congress testifying and being like, yeah, there's something coming around and shutting off all of the nuclear stuff, and we don't know what's going on.
Okay.
So in tandem with the intergalactic federation bullshit is like they're trying to be like, guys, stop. You're not going to be welcomed into space until you stop this bullshit.
So is it just peaceful in space then?
I don't
They-
know, man.
they
That
just
goes
don't
against
fight with
every
each other?
sci-fi I've ever seen. There's always bad actors out
For
there.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But overall, in all the sci-fi, there's always like a federation that's like, for the most part, everyone's tried to like make a civilization of space.
Yeah.
And I think it could be possible. And this phenomenon's weird that like these things are just like, I don't know, from the nuclear stuff to seeing all the shit to all the pilots seeing all these things. Why? It just seems like they're always watching us.
They're getting closer.
I think so.
So they become more active, though?
No, I think it's just we're getting better technology.
But like the drone thing, like
oh, I
because
don't know.
usually
I
it's
mean,
like pilots find these things, or
Oh,
they're shutting
sure.
down
Yeah.
nuclear sites, and now common people are like, "What?
yeah,
look.
yeah. No explanation for that one. So maybe that they're getting
Dude,
more
maybe
active.
people have met some already.
Well, I mean, there's stories all over the place of people being like, either I was abducted or I saw these things, and a lot of them are like Bob Lazar is probably the most famous guy
Yeah.
about UFO stuff, but similar to like the near-death experiences where like people die and like millions of people, maybe not millions, but hundreds of thousands have like had the same experience, and like, and it's all very like God-like. It's like very descriptive in the way of like what people talk about in the Bible and stuff, and like you see God, or you see your life, you see all of your life through once, and Jesus is walking you through it and stuff like. And these people like all have these experiences unrelated, and some people are like hardcore atheists before this happens, and then it happens,
Yeah.
and it's like, well, I can't deny it now.
Yeah,
There's this one guy, I forget his name, but so a lot of his experience, they'll be like, oh, it was this the warmest feeling ever, the only time I felt love. One guy, he was like kind of a piece of shit, and he went through it, and he had the opposite experience, where like he got dragged through
The hell?
literal hell, and like, but it was this whole thing of like, at the end of it was a hand pulling him through, being like, you can come out
Wait,
of
I
this.
think I've heard of this story.
Yeah, dude, and it's very interesting. Here?
pause.
All right. We were just on a break. Weird cut, but we're going to pivot to the next topic because none of us remember what we were just talking about.
I'm so drunk.
We've drank a lot since then. All right. So when you guys go to buy anything like online, you guys have probably come across these companies like Affirm or Klarna that like do financing. So it's like instead of pay the full amount, but you can pay $70 with no interest and stuff like this.
Oh, is
Like-
that like we'll give you your paycheck now and then?
Well, it's funny you say that because I have payday loans right after this topic because as I bought things online, continue to, I find that like almost everything offers like a payment plan option,
Yeah,
and it makes me think that like a lot of people really can't afford anything. If companies are doing this, there's got to be that people can't afford stuff in general, and so they have to do this in order to like make money. Because they're offering no interest on most of those payment plans.
Yeah.
Unless you like do like
Yeah.
a fucking 24
yeah.
month.
If you do
Yeah,
a
it's
street
crazy
payment,
that
you're fine.
that would get you in the door, like a $40 item. They're like paid over
Yes.
6 months.
Dude, really. And I'm like, fuck, dude, is that a bad sign of like like everything's failing and the only way that companies can sell shit to people is just like essentially keeping you on a loan? And then people probably have multiple loans on multiple things spread. I mean, I do right now where I'm like, I can afford it. But I'm like, yeah, I'll just pay 25 now and then spread over 4 months, 25 a month.
But I
It's
feel like
a
companies.
lower number, and you're just like, oh, I don't want to spend
Yeah, no,
$100 right now. I'll spend 25.
It works perfectly in terms of psychology because I see I'm like, oh, it's a lower number. I can pay it
Yeah.
later. But it's
Does that change that makes you buy something though when you wouldn't have?
for sure.
Really?
When I'm like something like good example, I buy some bedding from this company called Avocado, which is like organic, natural, fucking nice bedding. And typically their stuff will range between like $500 to $1,500 for like blankets, sheets, and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I definitely buy more than I typically intend to on that site because they're like
Because you can do that.
Yeah, you can just pay $100.
All right. Well, yeah, then it works.
Yeah, dude, it definitely works. But I think it's a bad sign because I think that stuff didn't exist. I don't know, 10 years ago on the internet, there wasn't
it's
like
been a surge. of,
yeah.
like, even prominent brand. What did I look at? Like North Face.
Mm-hmm.
North Face has it now. Where North Face has always been like, this is something you buy.
We're
when
better
you've
than
made
that.
It.
Yeah, that
This is something.
Patagonia offers it too. Just
Yeah,
bought that jacket.
also a brand that's like,
Which I
buy
mean-
this when you've made it. Kind
Yeah.
of thing.
I feel like it's more like companies realize they'll do anything to make an extra dollar. Like they realize
well-
more people will buy something.
I think so, but I think there's a lot of risk involved with being like, you only have to pay a quarter of this now, or way less. Sometimes it's 7 payments or whatever for like $1,000 item, and then the chance of someone just keeping it and saying "fuck you." Like I feel like it opens up the door for a lot of people to pay the initial payment and then keep the thing, who typically would never be able to afford that thing, and so I think that they were losing too much money
Yeah.
from expensive items, so they had to start offering payment options because. I think that
They're probably not going to send you to collections over like a $500
right
item.
and a first time offense kind of situation. Like I don't know.
I know that only because the law firm offers affirm payments.
Dude,
so
there you go.
So the only and the owners had to look into it in terms of liability. Once they go through a firm, all liability is handled by a firm, and a firm will take you to collections. Absolutely,
Sure.
they won't. They don't care. Like
Yeah,
they're literally just in the money game. Whereas they just take all the risk away from like the law firms in our case, where it's like that. So, I mean, any service / commodity, depending on what payment what payment processor it's going through, can use. I'm pretty sure can use a firm. Like Stripe
Yeah,
is a very
yeah.
big company that's used by tons of people.
Yeah.
So
I've seen on literally any products you can imagine. I've seen a firm.
like divorce.
I just put Klarna because I saw Klarna's one I hadn't heard of, and it's now another option I'm seeing on other stuff. Where like now there's other companies that are taking the space of these like loan shark companies
How do those companies make money though with no interest?
on interest. So they do
Oh,
offer
I thought-
interest options.
Okay.
So like it'll typically be like, say I'm buying a $700 item, it'll be like 4 payments of whatever $200-ish or whatever, or you can do 12 payments with 10% interest or 25% interest, but then it's like the payment's only $10 or whatever, and I paid over fucking forever. So I got to imagine a lot of people are choosing those interest options, and that's why those companies exist.
Yeah, like I'd rather pay $200 more, but have a much lower payment over 14 months.
And this is what makes me have a hypothesis that like the country's not in a good place if those companies exist and are making enough money to exist. It means a lot of people are buying things at high interest rates with not enough money to afford the item. A lot. To make a company survive.
I feel like it's the other way around though. I feel like they're forcing it. Like people are dumb enough to buy these, like accept this interest when they shouldn't.
What are you trying to say? Y'all dumb.
I mean, that's
I think it's kind of stupid to do that.
for sure. Yeah.
If there's interest, if there's no interest, doesn't matter. But like, why would you just accept interest?
Because you want it now. I mean, that's the only
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, right. Where people don't have the patience to save, or yeah, I don't know, man. It's so complex too. Because like, what if it's Christmas? You don't have enough money for your kids' gifts, and you're like, oh, I could buy all my kids' gifts, but just I have to pay interest later. I think it's just a bad. Again, I think you're right in terms of like they know that people are probably going to pull the trigger on things because they want it now. But I think there's also a sign of like, yo, people don't have money to buy shit anymore. More people are suffering. But anyway, happy stuff. And then payday loans is the next thing, which I didn't realize that like I've never used a payday loan, but essentially you can like get a forward on your paycheck from work, where you go to these places and you have like evidence of your paycheck coming in weeks or a month later, and they just like give you an extremely high interest loan sometimes, like up to like 90%. Sometimes they'll hand them out.
Yeah.
And so you're
That's so bad.
dude.
That's so people don't understand how that works. That's their whole business model is like
it's just
people
ripping
not
people.
understanding. It's like home ownership too. A lot of people just have no idea what they're getting
people
into.
get ripped the fuck. And most of those people the people who are getting payday loans, most of them really just need the money. Like they need the money for rent or food. It's like, you're gonna have your bad actors of people who are just like want to go buy luxurious things, but they're ripping off people who like really can't afford to be ripped off at all.
Yeah, it's the most vulnerable people.
Yeah, dude. So like that, but that shit's been around forever. Well before Affirm or Klarna. People,
they still have offices.
Yeah.
In random parts of the city. Not really random. It's usually in like the hood.
Yes, I was gonna say you never see a payday loan in like the Third Ward or like fucking even like Upper East Side. It's always like West Milwaukee.
And it's always right next to a Cricket Mobile every single time.
liquor store.
Or liquor store.
Yeah.
Or a smoke shop.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's architected. There's design.
Seems targeted.
It's those Australians. Okay. Top 10 most obsolete government entities. I don't know. I don't have the list. I don't know if that's worth digging into.
Follow up. I'll follow up.
That's a great follow up.
Man,
Yeah.
Doge, baby.
Yeah.
Elon.
Yeah, we'll see how that
Do a
fucking
whole
goes, man.
Doge episode.
So good.
What?
Wait, there's a Doge episode?
No, I said we'll do a whole Doge episode.
Oh, we should, man, at some point. Private donation better than welfare. Again, the thing I feel like I've talked to Dom about a bunch of times. I don't know if I brought this up with you.
No.
All right. Well, bear with me. And I said your name, so I got to remember myself to cut it out.
I don't care. Hi, I'm Dominique Damien Karocek.
My address is Social
Live
Security
in Milwaukee,
number.
Wisconsin. Work for Carpin Yanku. I don't care. Who knows?
Come find me, bitch.
Oh, he'll fuck you up.
So I forgot who brought it up, but I was having some talks about government and stuff, and there's a lot of people that will point to Scandinavian countries because they have essentially not a lot of business and government mixed up. So they'll have like a lot of people would point to Denmark, where a McDonald's employee would make $25 an hour like 5 years ago. And so that was like a big deal. It's like, oh, look at them. They have socialized government and medicine. Like they do that, but it's mostly because business and government don't mix. So in this country, a lot of people point to like, with this Doge stuff, and for the audience, Elon Musk and Vivek or whatever, but the idea of getting rid of government and these entities that protect the weak and vulnerable, I say that in quotes because I think it's just a lie when you look at the numbers. Where like welfare is the biggest example of this, right? Where welfare in 2023, I think about $1.1 million got taxed to welfare, but the return on the dollar through welfare is 30% when it comes out the other side of the government.
So where does it go?
Oh, I mean, name it.
Who has it?
Corruption, administrative bullshit, bureaucracy. It gets just filtered through that. And don't get me wrong, every processing entity, so like a private charity, will have some overhead that your dollar's not going to come out the other side the same amount it went
You
in.
gotta take a cut.
Right.
Like 70% cut though. That's pretty.
Right, and we're talking like that's the standard. And economists they put together this massive paper detailing how they come to these conclusions on that dollar. On the other hand, in this country in 2023, private donations were about $330 billion. Private donations to places like Salvation Army, all these charities that kind of support the most vulnerable and the weak or disabled. And the return on the dollar for that is 70%. So,
sick.
Well, here's the thing. Yes, very sick. But a lot of people will point to like, hey, if we start ripping out the systems, like there's this idea that capitalism is this very selfish thing. But here's a concrete example of when people are better off, because also most of the donation comes from the richest people in this country by far. Like those numbers, a lot of that money are from like the 90th percentile of the richest people.
Most of the donations.
They give the most money away.
Yeah,
when people are better off, they typically want other people to succeed. It's just, it happens. And it's through capitalism. So in this environment, even now where we have welfare and a very controlled environment and a lot of taxes, private donation outbeats welfare because of the return on the dollar. So it's like if you... And they also showed as welfare spending goes down.
So we should be cheering for rich people to get richer.
For everyone to get richer, dude.
Yeah.
There's a famous quote from, I think, Milton Friedman, who says, the one way to solve climate issues in this world is to make everyone better off financially. Because when people...
You can care about other things.
Dude, it shows across the board that the most polluted places have the poorest people. India is a great example of this. China is a great example. Where the poorest people are, they pollute way more because a lot of times it's more you care about where you live now. Because you have the opportunity to be like, oh, I want to be alive. I want to live in this. And it's just, the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
And so it's, I don't know, man. That talk of we need to give government more money to like support welfare and social security and all these things where they just launder their money through those systems and take from us and then be like, thank God this is here, or else you would all die. Like that's always the same rhetoric they use. So hopeful thing that even in this mess that we're capitalism's working.
Was there like a study done or something that?
Yeah, I mean I can send you the paper. It's literally economists just took all of the money that goes into welfare, where it's distributed to, all the private donations, all the charities that worked in favor with those donations, and where the money went afterwards. They just showed it like, hey, look, this happens. It's like
That's great.
It's fantastic, man. And it's not to say it's parallel to everything that the government does and the private entities do, but it's a similar story across the board of like, we get more dollar back when the dollar goes to a private entity that can only survive through making your life better. As opposed to a government who goes, yeah, if you don't give us money, we're going to put you in prison. And that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I'll get off my soapbox of welfare.
That was beautiful.
Thanks, man.
I like how he told me to bear with it, but you didn't get to say anything either.
That's good.
You just
Well, I
This is
said
all-
bear
this
with
is all
it.
new
You've
to
heard
me.
it before.
Oh, so you were just soapboxing.
No, I want to tell
Oh,
you.
I didn't know this was the Evan
Tell
show.
me.
It is my show. Hey, don't say my name. Fuck you, motherfucker.
Sorry.
My address.
He lives at.
Yeah.
Wait, you've never said names on here, or you don't
No,
try
we
to?
have.
we
but we
bleep them
them
out.
Oh, got it. No, don't bleep out mine. I want
I'll
him
leave
to
yours
know.
on.
Yeah. All right, how about this? Ass can make up for tits, but tits can't make up for ass.
The eternal battle.
Yeah. Well, but
Ass can make
is
up
there
for
even a battle
tits.
there, though? Can tits make up for ass?
Tits make up for ass. I am surprised daily by the
sheer tits.
that's not the direction I was going.
Amount of tits I've seen daily.
I was gonna say by what people are attracted to. So we had our holiday party like that. How? Yeah, he did. That was his.
I thought that was a fart, but it sounded like it was over there.
No, that was his foot. But like, I'm surprised by the thing. Like, you would think like, oh yeah, this person would for sure like butts. Wife doesn't have one, and you're like, huh, that's crazy.
All right. I hear you, and I totally agree in that I come across those situations, but I'm asking all of us to think of this in like a vacuum almost, where can the ass make up for boobs as opposed to the boobs making up for the ass in the sense of,
What do you mean?
If you're lacking in one area,
yeah,
can the
like
other
it's
area?
like it feels more like if someone has an entire. I feel like I'm pretty split in the middle. I love boobs and butts. I don't know if I have a strong preference, but it feels like I feel like a big boobs can't make up for a lack of a butt. It's almost like
That's a less common take, I think. The other way is much more common.
where a butt makes up for boobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it's
When
like
you say make up, do you mean, are we talking about, this has got to be like from a guy's perspective, sees girl and is like, you don't have a butt, but you have huge boobs, love it. Or the opposite.
Yes.
Where,
Yes.
where it's more common for the butt to make up for the boob.
yeah.
Got it. Yeah, that would.
I think that's
feel
a
like
more
that's
common. I hear
Yeah.
people say that
Yeah.
all the time.
And in my head, I go, yeah, it's probably because with someone with no butt, it feels less woman like figuresque. That's not a word, obviously, but and you can make the argument for boobs, but like when there's a girl has like wider hips or a bigger butt, it feels more like a girl as opposed. Well, that's probably wrong too, because if I see giant boobs,
That's-
I'm like, oh, that's definitely.
But I think it's like, isn't it like like it's supposed to be like the term birthing hips?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
if your hips aren't like if you just have like child hips and it's just
Right,
like a
just
straight
like-
thing
it's
all
like
the
a
way down the side,
skeleton
it's like,
almost.
are you like how are people attracted? Like it's not like, oh, this person is ready for children kind of thing.
Well, I mean,
They're
now we're
both childbearing things.
true too.
You don't throw
But-
babies
but hold-
in your
hold
chest.
On. Hold on. But you can't even get the baby out.
Yeah.
You need
Right,
one
that's
before
why it's
the
higher
other.
priority.
Yeah, there we go. It's all coming together.
This is making sense.
We're figuring shit out. That's what we're doing.
No.
So are we ass guys or are we boob guys sitting around here? You said you were a half and half.
I think
What
I
are you?
started off as a boob guy when I was growing up. I think every guy does.
Nope.
No?
No.
You're more of a butt guy?
Butts.
Really?
always.
Like you never like when you're a kid seeing like boobs in movies. I feel like boobs were just where it was at. Because also,
Yeah, boobs are just so different.
I was the swimsuit, like the classic camera angle when they're at the beach. Girl butt walks by the screen. I was like, nice. The
That's
boob
fair.
things, of course, were nice. I was like, oh,
Well-
nice. But like, the walk by scenes were the ones.
hear me out here. The boobs were a very mysterious thing for a long time. Because it's like a butt, you could see, like to your point, you could see butt in a swimsuit. But you
you
would
can
almost,
fill in the blanks.
for the most part. And a boob for a long time, it was like, oh man, what's under there? Like I did until I like saw it in a movie. I was like, man, a boob. And a butt is like, to me, it was like I can see the butt, and still great. But the boob had so much mystery to me that I think that made me like boobs so much more.
Do you stare into women's eyes when you have sex with them?
They're boobs.
or their boobs? Got it. Got it.
Do I?
Yeah. Do you stare into their eyes? Are you having eye contact?
Oh man,
Because you're sounding real gay right now.
didn't see you going there.
Gotcha.
Oh, you're saying I'm a loving man.
That's the gayest thing you can do.
Fuck.
Just look into their eyes.
I mean, if I'm being honest, it's a hard one to do. To look into someone's eyes while you're fucking, it's not easy.
I
Never done it.
Really?
I don't think so.
Really? You've never once had like a? Have you ever made love to anybody?
Like holding eye contact?
Yeah, not for like for like a you have a moment of like passion between each other.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, not
I thought you
like,
meant like the whole time.
no,
So-
my
yeah.
God,
Yeah.
that would be insane.
like student teacher, where you just gotta look at them and you're just like, yeah, is that good?
oh
Or
my God,
give me some pointers here. What do you
I'm saying even the short amount I've done it, it's tough to be like, all right, let's hold this and be passionate, and I just eventually have to be like, oh, all right, we're fucking again.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah. So to answer your question, yes, Dom,
All right,
I have.
all right. It's just more. Yeah, I guess I never had that thing. They could have bee stings, as Kanye West called them.
Oh, up top two bee stings?
Up top 2 bee stings.
I'm trying to think
Yeah.
if I've ever.
Ass that can swallow up a G-string.
'Cause
Yes,
at the same
that.
time, I've lived the opposite life of what I'm talking about because I don't think I've ever been with a girl who had really small boobs, but I've definitely been with a girl who didn't have a butt. So maybe I'm just like the grass is greener on the other side kind of mentality.
Grow up.
Get into
out there.
butts.
Get into butts, man. Get into
Fucking do
butt
it.
stuff. You know what I mean?
All right, North Korean soldiers helping Russia fight Ukraine war. I think y'all saw this, right?
Yeah.
Where like they start sending soldiers over to help on the Russian side for the war. And
Okay.
in the midst of this, a lot of them became addicted to porn because they were given internet access for the first time in their lives.
Oh.
Yeah. And so there was
It's crazy.
there were soldiers being just like, I don't even know, pulled back to be like court-martialed in North Korea, which is probably just death because they just got addicted to porn. Which, imagine being like a grown man and seeing porn.
That's the crazy thing. Like being
Yeah.
exposed to that at what age? Like 22, maybe?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's going to be explosive in your life. Like, just like, oh, my God.
That would completely blindside you.
And it's not even just like your nationality. You all of a sudden have access to all
anything?
nationalities.
Yeah. Probably people you've never... Cause
Yeah, North Korea, they don't see other
You're
people.
walled
Yeah.
off from the world. And then suddenly you're getting BB dubs. You're getting fucking blacked.
What do you think their most searched is? Like if you had to guess.
Now that's a great question. Dude,
Like what do you think?
You just
they're
discovered porn. What are you searching?
I can't go
You-
back
you-
that far anymore.
You don't even
I'm already
know.
too deep.
that history's gone, man.
I can't relive that for the first time.
I feel like you wouldn't even know what to search.
Yeah, like what do they? So it's just like they get internet.
They gotta know
They
what
gotta get
boobs
fed.
are, butts, vaginas.
Did you think they just Google boobs? Like, you think it'll work this time?
Maybe.
Sex, but they don't. How do they search it? Like, do they search it in Korean? And then it comes up with I guess
how do you
Google now
spell
just
sex in
translates.
Korean?
Their technology was equipped to like speak their language, I guess, whatever they were using. But
yeah, so they just searched sex.
That might be a good experiment of like, what does the male mind go for without any context to the outside? Like, what is the first search? Would be an interesting peek.
I feel like it would just be like us in middle school the first time we searched.
Yeah, which like,
just like
boobs,
girl
butt,
fucking.
naked.
Yeah.
So probably something like that. But it's hilarious to be like, you are so turned on that you're willing to risk your life to look at.
Yeah, I wonder what the punishment is.
Oh, probably death, dude.
Because you're just jerking
Yeah,
off
North
too
Korea
much.
doesn't really. Yeah, they
don't fuck around.
They just kill people.
Yeah, and like,
Dude, there must be just one guy on the squad. Like, dude,
some gay
check
guy.
this out.
Actually, it's gay porn. What am I saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just hilarious to be like, we're sending our military there, and they all get addicted to porn. Like, we're taking them back.
They're ours now.
That's
They're
such an unexpected consequence. They probably had no idea.
well, at least we know we don't really have to worry about North Korea now.
I don't think we ever did, brother.
That's fair.
It's like a fucking. I mean, Team America World Police fucking did it best of like. Actually, in that movie, they are a threat, but the reality is they're just this like falling apart. It's what happens when you have extreme communism. It's just like they're 30 years in the past with technology. They like make all these fake bullshit about having nuclear weapons, and they like test these weapons, and we get wind of it, and it's like they're testing rockets that just fall apart.
Yeah,
and we're like,
and even if they got it off the ground, it would get shot immediately.
Right,
it's not going to get into the whatever fear and actually be able to nuke any major city.
Yeah, they're nowhere close to doing any of those things, to my knowledge. So, yeah, it is a weird one.
Right, they got you right where they want you.
Yeah,
that's right.
Getting complacent.
Bacha Bazzi.
You just said a word.
So, listening to I forgot where it was, but it's a Marine talking about his time in Kuwait during some of the Middle Eastern wars. And in Kuwait, there's a lot of stuff that goes on there that he says that we just have to kind of let happen because we're there to do like military operations. But Bacha Bazzi is this thing where apparently in a lot of places in Kuwait, there's like boy harems, which are just like these like men who just have a bunch of like children that they just have around them and fuck and sell to all these people. And they have Bacha Bazzi is like this celebration of that, where they like parade him throughout the streets and shit like that, and it's just standard. And this Marine's talking about like, yeah, you just kind of.
Is this a good Marine or a raping Marine?
I hope it was a good Marine because he's talking about
this one's a love story.
Oh. Goddamn international love, baby. So yeah, he this guy's describing these things like most people aren't equipped to see that or even understand that like if you went over there and was like, you guys got to stop.
If I just
doing
stumbled upon that.
Yeah, or if you go to try to stop it, they're like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like it's very parallel to like us going to the Middle East and going, we're going to spread our democracy, and them going like, what?
No, we do this.
Yeah, it's like, this is what we do, man. We enforce our will on people, and there's no getting around that. And it's so, those things just don't get unworked as quickly. But the boy harem stuff was another level where I was like, oh, I didn't know it was like that. Where it's just like old men pimping out children, and everyone being like, fuck yeah, bro.
And it's not even secret. It's just
No, it's just out there. And like our military's well aware of it, having worked over there for so long. And you're like, he's talking about like, you have to work with these people because you're training these people. And so it's like people,
they're on our side?
Some of them.
Oh, God.
Yeah, because like the only way to be efficient over there is like to be friendly with the locals to some degree. So you're like working with people who are like parading boy harems around.
That's and they're like, what?
Yeah, I was going to say, they probably you think they get wrapped up in it?
I mean, wrapped up in terms of like.
They probably invite them along.
Oh, yeah. They're probably just like, oh, yeah, thank you so much for whatever. I don't know what their accent is, but thank you so much.
Durka, Muhammad Jihad.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And then they just bring them over and they're like, oh, come, we will feed you, me and my boys. And then they're just in a room full of boys and he's like, get on him.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, dude. So that's reality. Also, talking about this with one of our friends the other night. The Middle East has just been this like bed of not saying the people themselves, but like living a life in the Middle East has been mostly horrific. Like between the Bacha Bazzi stuff to all the wars fought, like
They've been fighting. It's been the same there for like decades.
Dude, that area has been used as a proxy by both Russia and America for like every war you can think of. So like these areas are just like nonstop conflict and extermination of races and religious groups, and it's like all because we've just like been like, fight, hey, you go fight him, and then we're like, no, you go fight him. But it's like there hasn't been peace, it feels like. And I can't think of another place in the world that is like, it feels truly just like a war zone and nothing else.
Yeah.
And then out of that, you have the child harems and all the other stuff that comes. It's like, what is this place, man, that just exists over there? Fucking crazy.
And they probably don't get a lot of exposure to other, like they're not getting tourists and people coming over there and people like, oh, different cultures. They're not, there's not a French restaurant opening up over there or anything like that. Where
I feel
it's
like they
just
get like religious tourists though. Like want to see the Holy Land.
Oh,
Well,
but that's
be
like Israel, dude. That's not like fucking like
where's
Saudi
Mecca?
Arabia.
Sure.
Where's Mecca? Where's the
Israel.
Mecca? That is Israel? Really?
Yeah.
The Mecca?
It's all there.
I thought that was Muhammad. No, I don't think that would be in. I don't think Mecca would be in Israel, because that's like that's Muhammad, like Muhammad's journey.
Are we talking about? Isn't there like a giant cube that they all
the
run
big
around?
black cube.
Yeah, I thought that was somewhere in Israel, or maybe I'm wrong. Because the wall's in Israel.
Yeah,
they all
that's-
go touch the wall.
Yeah. I don't think the big black cube is in.
Got it. Well, then
Israel.
that place, then the
Yeah.
Mecca one, because I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like I think that one's more Islam,
Yeah.
and then the wall being Jerusalem.
To that point, though, I think the majority of the Middle East is not like that. Like a Kuwait, that you can't free. I mean, there was like these stories come up every once in a while where a couple tries to like show the world how peaceful humans are in general and tries to travel through the Middle East and get killed immediately.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, no, that you can't go there. They will, and you also, if you're not native there, you stand out like a sore thumb in terms of the way you look, and then they go, either they're gonna like extort you or just fucking murder you. Yeah. So, Bacha
America
Bazzi.
rocks.
Dude, it rules. We are number one.
So great.
we are number one.
We are number one. If you don't have a solution to the problem, just shut the fuck up.
This
so
one
we all
sounds
have to
like
stop
work.
talking.
This happened at work. This sounds like a work.
It's very,
shift.
very work.
Oh
thing.
yeah.
Which we hire new people. We have these meetings.
Idiots.
I mean, not necessarily,
Test sucks.
but like people are just talking to talk, and in my experience, the longer you work at a company, the more like precious my time is to get stuff done because you got a million things you got to do. And so we're in a meeting and someone's just like, "Oh no, wait, this is not the same thing I'm thinking about." This is actually in tandem with the military thing that we were just talking about. This same Marine was talking about one of his commanding officers when they were in some firefights and how some people will freak out. Like bullets will be going by and people will just like be like, like you'll have some people have this response to just like the flight response to run or freak out or hide. But what's going on? Like lose it.
Yeah.
And then he said that his lieutenant would always go, if you don't have a solution, just shut the fuck up. And that's it. And typically that would work, which I never thought that would be used.
Oh, he says that in the moment.
In the moment. Because people would be like, what do we do? What's going on? Like questions they're all like fear-driven questions.
Yeah.
And by saying, if you don't have a solution, stop everything that you're doing. That's it.
Yeah, you don't have to ask for the solution in that scenario because
Yeah.
if someone had it, they would say it.
Exactly.
Right.
And the solution is mostly going to be driven by action, not question in like a firefight situation.
Yeah.
So totally unrelated to work. So I was thinking about something else.
Yeah, it
He's
relates
really
to
had a
work,
bad time.
though. You should try that at work actually, and then see if that helps your day.
Shut the fuck up. Psychology is more infectious than the flu. Also about the military.
That's
thing,
deep
too.
as fuck.
It's the same.
You
This
got
all
a lot
comes
of. What rabbit hole have you been going
I'm in
down?
the book.
Are you okay?
Been reading the Middle Eastern book, which is just
Okay.
it's just the history of the Middle Eastern wars, but then reading about Marines talking about that stuff, or not Navy SEALs, just special ops dudes.
Gotcha.
And this same guy was saying that the situation I just described as someone freaking out, it is so infectious. So if you have one guy who starts going, "Oh my God,
Oh,
we're
for
gonna
sure.
die," it is so infectious that like it could ruin the whole situation by just one guy being like, "We're gonna fucking die," that everyone just starts like freaking the fuck out. Which interesting.
Especially the leader, I
So,
imagine.
yeah.
just
What did
cue
he
off
say
of
that he did You just shoot him?
I think that's yes.
Just
yes,
put 'em down.
He just gave them a boy harem, sent them to Kuwait,
Got it.
had them be on their way.
You're made for
Got
the
it.
boy harems.
Yeah. What time are we at? Oh, we're at an hour. We'll do one more, and then we'll just fucking call it. We'll just end on this.
Oh, great.
Evolution has a destination.
Aliens.
He just said all you've done in the last 3 of them is just say quotes. All you've done is quote the last.
I can do whatever I want, man. What are you talking about?
You've been
Yeah, we're not
reading
saying
quotes.
anything.
Fine. Do you want something different? How about this? Do big anal lips mean big parts?
Big anal lifts?
Anal lips mean big parts.
Oh,
What
I
do
thought
you
you
mean
said
by
anal
parts?
lifts. Like
Lips.
lift.
I don't know where I got that
What do you
from.
mean
I think
parts?
I have no idea. You want something different?
Now you're acting like we asked for
away.
this.
Go-
You wanted this.
wanted this.
Go
All
back
right,
to the
so
evolution,
the evolution
thing.
has a destination. What
Yeah.
does it mean?
Where are we headed? Where are we going? Give us the answers.
Yeah, you better have something good.
Oh, I think it was actually from that Arcane show.
What,
The
really?
League of
You got-
Legends show, where there's like the Victor, this guy's like blends with some energy and it causes things to evolve super fast.
Yeah,
But
I know.
or
which
no, or
character
maybe this is
you're
from the
talking
Alien
about.
movie. Either one, because in that one they're like, there's a point to things evolving as opposed to it just evolving and adapting. Is that like there's a design? This is kind of in the argument of, is this universe designed by God or whatever force,
Yeah.
or is it something that's truly just a matter of fact out of like statistical means? Like this is all just happening because we're adapting to an environment. But I think that when you start to drill down into things, there is a design meaning. If there's a design, there's a destination from all of this. Like we're headed towards some kind of point for a reason, not necessarily like, oh, we're just becoming human because we're becoming human. Which when I read those things, it makes me excited. It's like, oh, dude, there is an inherent point. You don't even have to act on it. This is the point of being. And on this journey, it will continue that way to a destination to which we do not know.
So, counterpoint.
Yeah.
If we were all designed, why wouldn't we just start at the place? Like, why would we be designed to like grow towards something?
Because the growth is necessary.
Because it's about the journey.
I think so. I mean, yeah.
Oh.
But we can end on that.
No, I'm on board.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Hated it.
And with that, we'll see you next time.